Hello, and welcome to A VO's Journey. My name is Anthony Pica, and this is the podcast that's all about helping you, the upcoming voiceover artist, grow their business and sidestep all of the crazy landmines that I step on. Today's episode, we are going to be talking about where to get started on Fiverr. Now, I want to just briefly describe what I mean by that is, I mean, not like how to set up your account or anything like that. I mean, more so like how to actually position yourself in a way that you're going to get business on Fiverr just starting out, okay? Or maybe that you're struggling to get business now, and this will be some good stuff for you, okay? Let's do it.
This is VO's Journey. With your host, the incomparable Anthony Pica.
All right, so I wanted to talk to you today about getting business on Fiverr. And I think it's super important to point out that Fiverr was started as a place that the everyday person could go and find services by everyday freelancers who were, offering all kinds of unique and different things. So, with that spirit in mind, it is true that Fiverr is definitely changing things up. They've gone public. They're really trying to change their image, grow their portfolio, really build up a business back because, the reality is that they now have shareholders to answer to. There's profits they've got to make and all this stuff. So the reality is that they've got things to produce. So because of that, they're going to be looking to raise prices. They're going to want people who charge more and things like that so the platform can make more. However, it is important to note that if you are looking to grow your business on Fiverr and you're just struggling and you're just trying to figure out, how come some people get all this work and other people don't? I took an interesting path on Fiverr, and I've talked about it a little bit, but I think it's so easy to not see or not listen or not focus on the past when you're at a certain place, right? Because everything happening right now is consuming, your every thought and your actions. So it's difficult to take a step back and, go back in the future or go back in the future, not the movie, but go back in the past and actually, go over what a person did, like what I did in order to get where I was. And I don't know if I've actually ever talked about really the train of events that led me to where I am now in voiceover. On Fiverr. So with that being said, I thought it might be a good idea to, help out today by literally telling you about the path I took. And maybe it's something that you can take because what's interesting enough is right now where I generate 95% of my business on Fiverr is not where I generated it when I began, and not even close. So I think it's safe to say that, there is a path to take, but it might be not, it's not a straight path. It's a windy path. So let's get into it. So as most of you know, I started off, my voiceover career working on ACX, but I did create a Fiverr account. Well, I actually had a Fiverr account since 2012. But I created it back then as, a user of like the services, and I never ended up using it. I never even bought anything. So my account just happened to lay dormant there on Fiverr for all this time until I started using it late 2017. So anyways, I put some American male voiceover gig up there or something like that. And of course, when I did it, I didn't know what to put. So I put some crazy title, which is not the title I had now. And anyways, I didn't get any business. Nothing really happened because I was focused really on ACX and audiobooks. But, I had an idea to put up Halloween was coming up, and I had an idea to, put up a character gig, like evil character voices. Because, I enjoy doing those kind of like, kind of stuff like that. So I enjoy doing that. And I have a, darkness falls, kind of thing like that. So I got like a Vincent Price kind of thing. So I put that up and I found that I started to get some business. And there wasn't a lot of that there. And it wasn't defined like I will do an evil character for you. You know what I mean? That wasn't really defined on Fiverr at that time. So that was something that happened that I found a niche during a specific period of time that people were looking for. Now, the people that were purchasing were all types of people. I mean, there's I'm not kidding you. There was high school bands that that purchased that gig. There was trunk or treats, for like daycares and all kinds of different things. There was guys and gals who were doing, parties that purchased. I mean, there's all sorts of things that people purchased that, and it wasn't corporations, right? I mean, it was normal, everyday people. And they wanted it for a variety of reasons. I mean, sure, I did a couple was commercials, but most of them were just people, I did a guy who was throwing a Dungeons and Dragons party, and he was like the game master, and, he wanted this epic kind of thing, backstory to the show, to their game before their group started, things like that. And it was a lot of fun, and that was great. And I got business, and that actually catapulted me all the way to level 2. Now, they did change, back then when you went from levels, you could jump levels, whereas now you have to, you pretty much only jump one level, and you have to wait a month. But back then it was a little different. But either way, I jumped to level 2, and after that it was kind of like a thing where I definitely had some clout. But, the time went away and Halloween passed, and not a lot of people were doing that. So, I decided that it probably would be a good idea to put an audiobook gig up there. So, I had something up there and nothing was really working. And I tried a couple other things, and I started doing some split testing, and I split test the word audiobook and audio space book. Right. And lo and behold, I started getting some traffic. And, I really, and on a side note, I really do believe that Fiverr promotes, people trying and putting stuff out there. I really do. I think they like that, because it just shows activity in your account. So anyways, so I did that. And what happened is that I started getting book deals. People started coming to me. And then I took audiobooks seriously. And what I meant by that is I created a gig, an audiobook gig where I made a resume, PDF file, because you can add a couple PDF files to your gig if you didn't know that. And you can add PDF files, and I added my resume, I added a guide on how the whole thing works with me and how to, how I go through the process. I added some pictures because, you can add more pictures. I added pictures of like my studio equipment at the time, which is different than what I have now. But, I added that. I've changed. I've updated since then. But, I added that. Plus I had my video, and I, which I was me doing a real audiobook demo type of layout. And, I had my pricing set at, I think at the time it was around $200, maybe $150 to $200 per finished hour. So anyways, and of course I found a way to make the words and the numbers work. So, it was like, it showed $5, you know what I mean? And then every like 350 or something words, it went up $10 or something. And whatever it was, it equaled out to be the amount at the end. It was like whatever it was at the time. But I at 10,000 words, I equaled out to like $200 to $250. So anyways, what happened is I started getting traffic, and then I got a book deal, and that went through. And as you know, the algorithm really promotes a lot of money going through your account, right? So the more money you make, the more they boost you. So the more money I made through that audiobook account, and those were big chunks of change, right? Like $500, $1,000 for a job, that's a big chunk of change. So then what happened is that they were boosting my audiobook account, and then I started getting more like regular work was going all through my audiobook account. Meanwhile, my main gig wasn't doing much of anything. Now, I had to be honest. I really do have a feeling that what was happening was people were going to my other stuff, and then they were finding my audiobook gig through, the extra things that you offer on the bottom. And because it was cheaper, they were going with my audiobook gig. But at the time, I was just happy to be getting business. So that was what was going on with my audiobook gig. I was getting a lot of work. And I mean, that in itself was, really what catapulted my entire business was all of that work that I kept getting through the audiobook industry. Now, as I went along, more and more people have joined in for the audiobooks. More and more people have done that. And, my audiobook business has dropped some, but it's dropped some because for a reason. I'll tell you what that is. But, I don't do much anymore from the audiobooks because what happened is that I started, again, paying more attention to my professional, my male voiceover gig, and I redid the picture. I put a whole new demo on there, and I changed my description. I changed the whole thing, and lo and behold, that took off. And I started getting a lot more business from there. At this point, I was still offering $5, $5. And I had been offering $5 for like 100 words for years. You know what I mean? That was, I tried other prices to no avail. I'd raise the price, lower the price, like word count and stuff, like all kinds of things, but it didn't matter. It wasn't until I changed everything, put a new demo on there and all kinds of stuff, that it started taking off. So anyways, I started getting more business. And then all of a sudden, I was so swamped with business that I was literally doing like 16 to 20 orders a day. And it was near impossible to keep up with it. And, I realized something was wrong, and I started reaching out to people, trying to figure out, I love Fiverr. It's making me lots of money, but I can't keep up with all of the work, and at the time I was doing a full-time job. Now, mind you, this was still me charging $5 for 100 words. So after that, I decided to, really, really reach out and see if there was other options for other voiceover work out there, because I loved Fiverr, but I realized, I'm so busy, but I'm only ever going to make a couple $1,000s on Fiverr, and I need more to go full time. And I thought that was the way it was. So I reached out, and of course, I Voice 123 popped up. And I had some people recommend it, and I purchased the I purchased the fee. I paid the fee, and I got on there. And then within 2 days, I entered my account because I had done some auditions, and I got feedback, and I was being favorited. And then within like 2 days, I log on, and the whole entire platform is changed. It's completely different. You can't see any I thought something was wrong with it, but you couldn't see like any interaction. You couldn't see what people were saying. You couldn't see if they liked what you did. You couldn't see any of that anymore. And, I didn't know what was going on. And then I find out, of course, they've rolled out an entire change to the platform, which we all know now. But, at that time, I wasn't even aware of it because I just joined it because I was looking to find a way to generate more money per hour, per hour of my work time, right? So anyways, I did that for a while. It didn't seem to work. I wasn't getting anything. And then I got an email from Fiverr accepting me into the Seller Success Program. So I looked around Fiverr. I looked around the internet. I tried to find YouTube videos, Google. I did everything, even on Fiverr, and I couldn't find anything about the Seller Success Program. I thought it was a scam. Until I did go onto the forums and I went into closed groups, and there was a closed group of about 100, 120 people or so that were in this group called Fiverr Success, or a Seller Success Program. And you couldn't get into it, of course, because it was closed. And but I was like, okay, well, there is something there. So maybe that is. And the person that sent me the email was only asking for a phone call. So I was like, okay. So, I set up the call and talked to him, and come to find out that this is a program that Fiverr started to help pro sellers, with their gigs, and they would have these managers that would go in and help them with their pricing, help them optimize their gig, help them learn about, analytics, give them tips, all that kind of stuff, just to help them succeed on Fiverr. And, I was like, wow, okay, so why am I being accepted into this program? Because I'm a level 2 seller. I'm not even top rated seller. And the guy told me that Fiverr was really impressed with all of my reviews and the fast nature of my success and everything. And so that I should be really honored that they accepted me into the program. I was like, that's cool. Thank you. And I was excited about it, but I wasn't quite sure what it meant. Like, did I get a prize? What is it? So, but what I did is the guy said, well, you can ask me any questions and I help you out. So I did. And at that point, he told me some things, which I've shared with multiple people and in my groups, about the things that ended up changing my business over the last 2 months that have taken me from level 2 seller, which I was there forever, it seemed like, to top rated seller, and doubling and tripling my income on Fiverr. But the reality is that I changed my prices. I changed my offerings. I changed a whole bunch of stuff. And that was the main thing that turned around my whole business, was my pricing, the things I did on the back end, all this kind of stuff I changed. And that really helped, take my business from me being so swamped and not making enough money to being swamped and making a lot of money. So I think that in itself is what changed my entire Fiverr business. But now I generate all of it through one area, which is my professional voiceover business. I mean, my professional American voiceover gig. I do get some character work still, and I don't get a lot of audiobook. I get audiobook work from people who are returning customers. And like this morning, I got a message from somebody wanting me to do their audiobook, and told me, he only wanted to pay $50 an hour. And and I was like, I wish him the best. I couldn't do that. But anyways, what I'm getting at is that, I didn't start like that. I did everything I could. At one time, I had 11 to 12 different gigs. And by the way, the more you higher up you go, level 1, I think you get 10 gigs. Level 2, you get 20. And top rated seller, I think you get 25 or 30. But anyways, it gives you the opportunity to try out different things. Because it's like you're mining for gold, right? Or you're fishing. You got to dig as many spots as you can. You got to, throw as many poles in the water as you can and try different things, all right? Try to keep up with trends. Try to keep up with, I would be offering, if I wasn't where I was right now, I'd be offering a different gig for each holiday that comes up, because people are going to go on there and look for, holiday-specific things. So that's just another thing that you can do as well. But I just wanted to talk about this because I want to say that I didn't start with making all this money through professional, my professional American male voiceover, because that's like the highest search term. I started by going in like the back door, if you will, by doing these smaller niche areas that I built up business, and I built up, credibility, I built up reviews and all this stuff like that. And I did all these things, and then as I built it all up, it led me to this point now. So when people look at me now, I want to tell them, this is not where I started. This is not how it this is not how it started. It started when I was doing all kinds of little small niche things, and now, of course, I'm hired for the bigger things on Fiverr. So you see what I'm saying? So what this means for you, I think, is that I really would love for you to do that. Search through Fiverr. And add something unique, try something different, set yourself apart. Don't think about how things were done traditionally, all right? Because traditions are great, but, that's in the past, and we are now, moving to the future. So it's important that you try new things and get yourself out there in new and different ways, because there's so many ways to get ourselves out there, and there's so many interesting things that people are trying to do, right? So anyways, I hope this helps out, and I hope giving you that backstory kind of tells you how my process went. Now, I didn't talk about the time where I went on vacation and I put it on vacation mode and it decimated my business, which is why I tell people don't ever put your stuff on vacation mode. Just change the amount of delivery time so that, you're not doing 24 hours. But if you're going on for like a 3-day vacation, change your delivery time to 4 days. But, there was that time and I had to rebuild my business there. So, there was those things like that, in the gaps. But again, it all came from starting with evil character voices. And I filled a niche at that moment in time. And then it came with audiobooks and I filled a niche at that moment in time. So think about those things that go with you as where we are right now and what you could fill. All right. Okay, you guys, I hope this helped out. And if you have any questions, please, as always, let me know. Make sure that you join our Facebook group and share this with somebody. And I hope to talk to you soon. Y'all have a great weekend. All right. Peace.